Howdy drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumsaword.com. Hope you're doing well. As promised, here is another full free video song lesson. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play the song Cryin by Aerosmith, drummed of course by Joey Kramer. And I've got all 5 pages of the full song transcribed for you. You can download the PDF for this lesson from my website. You'll find a link beneath this video. So have this printed out in front of you as we go through this lesson together. The tempo is 71 BPM, excuse me, but it's the dotted quarter note. So this song we're feeling it in groups of 3, and I've chosen to transcribe this as bars of 6/8. Now don't get thrown off by that. All we're doing is counting beats of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're playing it in 12/8 or 6/8. If you just double the length of the bar, then it's 12/8. But I've just chosen to write it in 6/8. Doesn't matter how you count it though. You can feel it as triplets because that's exactly the same thing. But I'm going to be counting it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Joey comes in with the rest of the band on beat 4 with the first drum fill. 1, 2, 3, and then on beat 4 he plays these flams around the drums. Now I've transcribed this song for all 4 toms. I wanted to do it for 3 toms, but there are so many drum fills in here that are playing multiple toms that I thought it would be not cheating, but I think I wanted to show you what Joey's playing around all 4 toms. There are some crazy fills coming up later on, where he's just using every single tom, almost randomly it seems. So to start off with, we're just using 2 toms with the snare drum, playing flams. The only time he plays flams in the song. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't matter what toms you use, snare, then up to a tom, then down to a second lower tom or lowest tom if you like, it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And we're into our first groove. Now, for most of this song, Joey's playing up on the right, and there's only one section where he uses the hi-hat. So straight to the ride cymbal, and we've kind of got this drum beat being played a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With these bass drums pushing on beat 3 just before the snare drum on 4, and also at the end of the bar on beat 6. And he varies around where he places those bass drums. Sometimes he doesn't play the bass drum on beat 3. Sometimes he doesn't play the bass drum on beat 6. It's a combination of 2 bars, as we'll see later on as we get into the main section, the choruses. But to start off with, we've got all 3 bass drum positions being played. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then he comes down to the floor tom and snare drum. It could be the lowest tom, it doesn't matter. We get 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Around the toms again, starting on the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Into our next bar, which is exactly the same as our second bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly the same drum fill there as well. Next line, notice how he doesn't play the bass drum on beat 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No bass drum there on 6. But then the same drum fill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Same for the third bar, same as the first bar. No bass drum on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this little drum fill he does occasionally in the song where it's just simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to use several crash cymbals, great. If you've got 2 crash cymbals, brilliant. If you've only got 1, it doesn't matter. I tend to use just the 1 because I don't feel the need to show off too much when I'm performing a lesson for you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It ends on the upbeat there as we go into verse 1. And Joey comes out, stops the drums for this first verse. But before we go on to that, let me just play for you both lines of the intro up to speed without a microphone on so you can hear just the drums. So as I just mentioned, verse 1, there's no drums. It's 12 bars of the 6/8 we're counting. And then the very last bar, the second line, he comes in with a drum fill. First use of 16th notes. We get 1 and 2, 3. 3 is rested. You could use any tom you like for this. I'm going to use this tom in front of me rather than this tom. It doesn't really matter. 1 and 2, 3. And then the same thing, 4 and 5, but then he ends it with the next lowest tom on beat 6. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 1. Then we're into our first, bridge 1 I've called it. And the only section, like I said earlier on, where he plays the hi-hat. So we go to the hi-hat, And we get the same drum beat, but just on the hi-hat. So 1, 2, 3. But to start off with, he opens the hi-hat on beat 4, 4, 5, 6, and closes it on beat 6 with the bass drum there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. You could leave out that open hi-hat, doesn't matter. But it's on the recording. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. 6, 1, where the hi-hat closes. 6, 1. Next bar, very, very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we get this 2-bar pattern that he plays for most of the song now, where bars 3 and 4 are the 2-bar pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That 2-bar pattern gets repeated for the first 2 bars of the second line. And then bar 3, he sort of opens the hi-hat gradually over the length of the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's kind of fully open by the time you get to beat 6 with that crash cymbal on beat 4. Another idea he uses quite a lot later in the song. Snare and crash together on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So opening or just hitting louder as you get towards, don't know, not too loud, but it's an obvious increase in volume. And then for the last bar of that line, 1 straight down to the snare drum just to play all the 16th notes on the snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. It's a bit of a mouthful to count, I kind of feel it. And that first snare drum on the end of 1 is just ever so slightly quieter than the others. But you could just play. That doesn't sound quite the same. So it's like a ever so gradual increase in volume there from the end of beat 1 to beat 2. You could almost call the end of beat 1 a ghost note if you wanted to. But don't worry too much about that dynamic thing. It's a sort of a feel thing. So let me play for you that bridge slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. And I'll play this up to speed for you in a moment. So let me go on to chorus 1. And this is where that snare drum on beat 4 with the crash cymbal occurs pretty much all the time. The first bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Then the second bar introduces this cool little ride cymbal pattern that Joey plays during the choruses. 1, 2 and 3. Simple as that. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the basic pattern, and as you'll see, Joey just adds different bass drums to either to beat 3 or to beat 6. So the third bar has that bass drum on beat 6 going into the last bar. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, a bit of a mouthful to count, but you can sort of feel it. Next line. Really it's just more of the same now. So I won't go through every single bar because a lot of them are very, very similar. So you can see a 2-bar pattern emerging there on line 2. Well, it started on line 1 where the bass drum's playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Not 6, 1 every time, every second bar. So let's go to the third line. Look out for the fact that Joey doesn't play the 2 and 3 on the ride cymbal for bar 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Kind of goes with the melody, so it makes sense why he left that out, because he then repeats it on the last line in bar 3, exactly the same place. Then we get this really cool drum fill at the last bar with some dynamics. We definitely get some ghost notes being played here. So the lick is, without the ghost notes, 1 and 2 and 3, and then up to your highest tom with the snare drum, 4, move down to the next lowest tom, 5, and then those 2 toms together, or it could be those 2 toms, it doesn't matter, 6. So we get 4, 5, 6. You can hear the snare drum being played on both 4 and 5. So we get, with the dynamics now at the beginning, that ghost note on the beat 2, we're playing 1 and 2 and 3. If you wanted to leave it out completely, you could just play 1 and 2 and 3, right, left, right, but Joey plays, which gives it a bit more feel. Very subtle. You'd be excused if you missed it or didn't hear it. You could just play that instead. But what he plays there is into our next section. So now let me play for you the very last bar of verse 1 where that drum fill comes in, all the way to the bottom of the page, so through bridge 1 and chorus 1 up to speed. So then we go into the section I've called Riff 1. And we're starting to see Joey using a lot of toms here. The first bar, I won't waste your time, we've gone over those beats. The second bar though, this drum fill, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing 1, 2, 3. So floor tom and snare drum, 2 highest toms, down 2 sets of toms. It could be, it doesn't matter where you start the toms, as long as you go down, you've got another set to go down to. So it sounds like it's descending. So we get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because it repeats it for the second half of the bar. Really nice idea. Bar 4 then, the next drum fill, we get this, 1, 2, 3, down 2 sets of toms. So it looks confusing on the page, but when you work out what the hands are doing, it's not really, it's just, it makes sense. Requires a little bit of movement to get back in time, especially if you've got a big drum set, so you have to rush back to the beginning of the tom, well, to the high tom from the beginning of the drum fill. So on to the second line, and the second drum fill is exactly the same as the one I just showed you. And then we get the last bar, which is simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but instead of ending it, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So 4, 5, 6, 1. 3 bass drums in a row going into the next bar. So then on to verse 2, and we're on the ride cymbal. We've got more of the extra ride cymbal notes being played in bar 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next 2 bars are very simple though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's improvising with the ride cymbal. Second line, more of the same, just where are the bass drums? Is he playing the 2 and 3 thing? Just look out for that. Bar 4 though, of that second line, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and. The important bit there is 5 and 6 and. So we get 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 1. Nice little subtle drum fill that. So before we go on to the next section, let me now play for you the whole of Riff 1 and the first 2 lines of verse 2 up to speed. So going on to the second half of verse 2, more of the same stuff going on. Look out for bar 3 of the last line where he throws in the crash cymbal out of nowhere on beat 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this drum fill, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. So it's all on the snare drum. We've already done that drum fill before. But the very last note with the left hand comes up to a tom. Could be either high or the medium, it doesn't matter, but it'd be somewhere over here because it's your left hand side. Simple as that, but requires a little bit of execution, being aware of where you're feeling 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 with the high tom. So down to bridge 2. I'm going to be repeating myself a lot here, so let's just go straight to the last bar, which is just all 1 and 2 and 3 and all on the snare drum for that last drum fill. Going into chorus 2, more the same ideas. Look out for the crash cymbals on beat 4. Sometimes he doesn't, well, most of the time when he goes into the chorus for the first time, he doesn't play the 1, 2 and 3. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then after that, he then starts to introduce back the 2 and 3 onto the ride cymbal. So be aware of that. It's just it. You don't have to, yeah, so be aware of that. Page 3, let's go straight to the last bar of that line where we get this drum fill, which he plays elsewhere in the song as well later on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. We get the snare drum there on 2 and 4, and then 5, 6, 1. Again, if you've got 2 crash cymbals, it looks good, it sounds better. If you've just got the 1 crash cymbal, fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So then on to the next line, and the idea that the patterns continue. The very last bar of line 3, we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 into beat 4, 4 and then 5, it could be 5, it doesn't matter, 5, 6, down to another set of toms, it could be 5, 6, very hard to tell, 5, 6, so we get 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Into riff 2, back to the ride cymbal, and bar 2, some very, very random drum fills now. And I don't think I've mentioned it so far, but I will later in the lesson when we get to the drum fill at the end of the song. That Joey hasn't memorised these patterns. If you watch, I wouldn't have to watch him play it live. I just know there's no way he's memorised these particular orchestrations. It will be improvised every single time. So if you're really struggling to read these drum fills off the page, as you probably will, because it's like a blur of notes and you're like, blah, 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 then just improvise. Do your own drum fills during these sections. The drum fills, if they're going down the toms, make sure they go down the toms, but don't worry about, there was a snare drum there on beat 2 with that drum fill. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. Improvise, as Joey would live as well. But on the recording, we get 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. Kind of random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. For the last drum fill of that line, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bit more melodic. Next line, bar 2, looks like a mess, but we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the last bit is down 2 sets of toms. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I've written it as that. It could have been that. It doesn't matter. It's just 2 toms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see what I mean about being quite tricky reading it off the page. So if don't beat yourself up if you're messing up with these drum fills with the orchestration. The last bar of that line, riff 2, we get 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. So crash cymbal on 1 and then coming down to the snare drum for beat 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Simple as that. Then to bridge 3, and let's go straight to the second line. Notice from bar, from the beginning of the line, we get a lot more bass drums. So those first 4 bars of groove, I'll just show you. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So here's something new. I don't think I mentioned it so far. I don't think it's happened in the song yet, where he's playing the bass drum on beat 3, just after the 2 and 3. So it's like another little pattern you might want to learn. 1, 2 and 3, learning to get the bass drum on beat 3 at the end of that ride pattern. So be aware of that. But those 4 bars, you can hear we've got a lot more bass drums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, pretty much going through the whole line. And then the last 2 bars, so notice it's an extended line. We've got 1 extra bar than you would expect. The drum fill lasts a bit longer than you think. It starts with 1, I think it's floor tom and snare drum and bass drum. 1, and then 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and, simple enough. Then the second bar, the last bar, we get up to your highest tom, could be that tom, doesn't matter. We get 1 and 2, and then straight back up to the that tom you just used for 3 more notes, and 3 and then simply down the next 3 sets of toms for the last bit. 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. Classic way of getting through groups of 6 is to play 2, 2, 2. So we get 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. So now let me play for you those 2 lines, bridge 3, up to speed. So for chorus 3, more of the same grooves going on, crash cymbal on beat 4, the 2 and 3 on the ride cymbal. The last bar of that page though is this drum fill once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Exactly the same as we talked about previously at the top of the page. By the way, I didn't mention that Joey does in fact come back to the ride cymbal in between the crash cymbals. He plays 1, 2, 3. You don't have to, you could just play 1, 2, 3, 4 and just leave out that ride cymbal on beat 3. You don't have to rush back to it if your crash cymbal's over here, for example. 1, 2, 3, you could play 1, 2, 3, 4, but then 5, 6 at the end, or 5, 6 if you've just got the one crash. Let's go on to page 4. And chorus 3 continued. Let's go straight to the 3rd bar. We get a choked crash cymbal on beat 1 of that 3rd bar where, what's his name, does his big high-pitched vocal thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's just rested for the whole of that bar. So bars 1 to 3, well, let's do the whole line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I made it awkward for myself by coming over here because that was the crash cymbal I was using and I want to choke the crash cymbal I've been using so we do get silence for that section. It's not essential, but it have more effect if you choke the crash cymbal that's ringing that you've been using previously for the beat 4. Next line, more stuff, and then the last line, again, notice it's 2 bars long, it's an extended length. So the line above and that line equals 6 bars. Yeah, 4 plus 2 is 6. So that drum fill, very simple. 1 and 2 and 3 and then 4 and 5 and 6 and, or 4 and 5 and 6 and, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Doesn't matter, but the first bit, all 6 on the snare drum. So, for complete sake, because you've got that little crash cymbal choke, let me play for you the first 3 lines of page 4, chorus 3 continued. So let me go into the harmonica solo, but I think there's also a bit of guitar solo in towards the end. More of the same stuff for the grooves. First 3 lines. The last line though, we got a really cool extended drum fill. So let's go straight to bar 3 of that last line of the harmonica solo. Joey plays this. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. So we've done that drum fill before. Next bar though, starts the same, but we get 6, 1 at the end. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So into beat 6, 6, 1. That next bar, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and I've written it for the high tom, but it could be that tom. We get 5 and 6 ands at the end, and then the very last bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All crash cymbals on all 6 beats. So slowly those 4 bars of drum fill. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 into chorus 4. So now let's hear just that last line up to speed. So for chorus 4, We've got more of the grooves going on. Joey's playing the bass drum on beat 3 after the 2 and 3 a lot in this chorus, so be aware of that. Let's go straight to page 5, chorus 4 continued. And the very last bar there, notice it's a 3-bar line. We go into probably the maddest drum fill I've ever heard in my life, and it's mad because of the toms he uses. Now, I'm going to let you know right away, I didn't practice this drum fill before pressing record. I wasn't going to stress myself out and even try to play it for you up to speed. If I was playing this song with my band and Joey would do exactly the same, there is no way he would have memorised this drum fill. It's so random with the toms he uses. So I'm going to show you slowly, then it's up to you to play it up to speed. But honestly, if I was playing this song, I would just do my own thing over this. It's just constant 16th notes. It's just what toms do you use. It starts quite sensibly and then just goes mad. So it starts with, and I have transcribed this note for note. I'm hearing all 4 pitches of the toms he uses. Here we go. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. So we've done that before, 5 and 6 and. Next line, it goes down to the next tom, 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 and, which is a bit tricky to come back to. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then up to the 2 highest toms, 5 and, down to 1 snare drum, 6 and 1 and. Yeah, that's right. So it's 6 and 1 and 2, then and 3 and, then 4 and 5 and 6 and, back up to the highest tom, 5 and 6 and, because then we're going to do a descending thing. So and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, just the lowest tom once there, 4 and back to the next highest tom, 4 and 5 and ends with 6 and. So it's around bar 2 and 3 that the randomness is really kind of crazy. Towards the end of the beginning it kind of makes sense. We get 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But then from this point it just goes crazy. 5 and 6 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. What a nightmare to read. So if you want to memorise that, learn to read off the page, well done, excellent. It is fun to play once you've, I'm sure it's fun to play once you've got that up to speed. But like I said, last time I mentioned it, there's no way Joey would repeat that live. It's just improvised. It's just a crazy drum fill. So over 4 bars, you might play. And I changed the drum fill at the end there, but you can see what I mean. In fact, that probably wasn't in 4 bars. I wasn't really counting the fourth, how many bars I was going for there. I was just feeling it. So, do your own thing, for goodness sake. Don't stress over that drum fill too much. So then the last 2 lines, we just basically, it fades out. So we just got the song fading out now. And the very last drum fill you hear on the single version, on the one that goes with the music video, you hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the song fades out completely. And there you go, that's the whole song. So I hope you had fun with that. Don't forget to download all 5 pages of the PDF from my website. It is a lovely song to play this, lots of nice grooves to get your head around, and some crazy drum fills if you're up for that using toms. If you've got any questions about any of that, please email me, rob@drumstheword.com, and I'll be happy to help as much as I can. And then while you're at my website, you might also consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for $97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's coming up to 450 full song lessons now. Just like this lesson, I teach you every single bar from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart. I've got a couple of other Aerosmith songs on the website already. I'm sure there'll be more added in the future, plus the 450 almost other famous and popular songs. As a thank you for signing up, I'll give you even more. I'll give you hundreds of videos teaching you many, many famous drum beats, fills, and even drum solos. I'll give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous drum beats, fills, and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, again, email me, rob@drumstheword.com. And also check out my Facebook page. This song was suggested over there. I ask my members on a regular basis for their song suggestions. They then get to vote on them. You'll see the post. It's a big image saying, what songs would you like me to teach? The latest has March 2020 written beneath the speech bubble. Go into there, into the comments, type your suggestions. Other people get to vote on them. The most popular songs get chosen for future lessons. Okay, until the next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.